Start with David Collins, huh?
I think so.
David Collins has caused a real ruckus.
Yeah,
good for David for kicking up some dust here, because he is. There's been a chain of events here that has caused Ray to go after our friend David Collins and our other good friend Tom Myers, two friends of the program. So I don't really care about Ray DeVito. I know a lot of people cover him, but this is. I'm going to step in here and defend my guys. You don't go after Tom Myers and David Collins and think I'm not going to have something to say about it, you know?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to devote some time to this one.
Yeah. So Casey Day sent me this the other day. It's Chad Zumock and Kevin Brennan talking about David. And so if you watch David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show, this appeared a few months ago. Personally, I wouldn't have done this, but David has his reasons, which we'll get to, I'm sure. A statement has been sent, so we will get to that. But let's just hear Chad and Kevin, because I think they explain the scenario a little bit.
This guy, David Collins, recorded Ray before they started a podcast, and Ray started saying a lot of revealing things, which we'll cover on the Ray DeVito show, but we can cover it now. Oh, here it is.
Video. I should have asked that later in the show.
All right, press pause real quick.
So set it up. So what is this?
So this guy, David Collins, had Ray on his podcast, and this is the pre-interview, or the podcast hasn't started. He does a little commentary on what's going on.
I like that Chad thinks it's a pre-interview, like he's on Letterman. Ray, why don't you tell us? Any vacations recently? What have you been up to?
Honestly, couldn't speak higher of David.
And his lawyer and everything.
David Collins is a Cleveland comic.
I've never heard of him.
And what's interesting about this clip to me.
Who's this guy standing up? Is that the guy from Cumtown? He has the same mustache. Nick
I don't know, but he's doing commentary on what's going on.
It's Nick Mullen, Kevin.
It's just constant compliments for David right now.
He's got a mustache. He's kind of a genius, but he doesn't work that hard.
I was recording him, but
this is the guy who's talking. The guy who's standing up. He's doing a voiceover for his own recording.
Yeah, he's doing a narration for what's going on, saying Ray knows I'm recording him. I don't know why he's insisting on saying this.
I will say, so my take on it, if David gave a shit about my opinion, I would say I wouldn't release it just because Ray's an idiot.
Right.
Ray, you could say he knew he was being recorded, but clearly he didn't want that out there. He kept saying, so I think it's a little shitty of David to release it, but also hey, he got attention for his show, you know? I'm sure, like I said, he has his reasons. But I would say to Ray, why are you saying this to a stranger?
No shit.
If you don't want it out there. If your whole life is getting trolled by, or even if it's not, by the way. Like the first time I was on David Collins' show, I wasn't revealing my deepest secrets to him.
You're just trying to get through to him at all.
Yeah. But so to Ray, why are you just ranting about this to a complete stranger who is recording, like who you know, even if he's not recording you yet, the intention is to record your conversation together. So why are you just like, hey, here's some things I really don't want out there. What's your name again?
Yeah. Chat, who do you think's in the wrong?
Yeah, it's a gray area, but I'm going to blame mostly Ray because again, you have to know. It's like remember Tom Brenneman said some words into a hot mic.
Yes, he did.
You know, I like to think we all as a society can be adults and be like, he thought he was who really gives a shit, but. The blame is on Tom Brenneman. He knows there's a microphone in the room. What the fuck are you doing?
There's a mic in front of you. Always assume it's hot.
Yes, exactly. So I do blame mostly Ray. But, you know, both have blood on their hands here in this very important feud.
See how uninterested I am in this. He continues to divulge this information that he insists doesn't want recorded.
Legal, and I have a lawyer. I can't talk about that, but that's going to...
Oh, this is David Collins. He's an Iowa comic, and he does shows with Blind Mike.
Oh, that's the guy he drove out to Iowa. You know that club in Iowa?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But so Ray...
How is that a notable...
shows?
He said your name.
Oh, that's a guy that went to Iowa. Yes, he lives there. How did that trigger Chad's memory to be like, oh, now I know him?
Yeah, and and Kevin was like, "Oh yes, that's right."
Yeah.
So it worked for both of them, I guess.
Oh, right. Oh, he lives in Iowa and went to a club in Iowa. I thought he was just the guy who lived there. I didn't realize he went to the comedy club.
And after shows in literally in a green room. This is literally a green room. And Ray's trying to get sympathy from this blind Mike wannabe.
Yeah, and this one,
Hold on a second. I'll defend my pal David. Just because he's on my show doesn't mean he wants to be me.
How the tables have turned with how Kevin talks about you, though.
You just want to be blind Mike. Everyone's reaching to be blind Mike.
this Ray's just throwing it at him. So he's like, let's go with it.
Gotta vape. The dark glasses, the hat backwards, and vaping. This guy's got it
That
all.
is so blind Mike.
That's what I always say.
Saying this directly, but I think this guy's just getting taken advantage of by a lawyer.
Which is true, by the way. Here's the other thing. I think, like, as I said, I wouldn't have necessarily done it, but to defend David, it's not a real it's a who gives a fuck. Ray wants to sue a guy on YouTube.
Right.
It's not like a real thing. Like David gave out personal information. Ray is like, hey, a guy on YouTube makes fun of me, and I want to take him to court for it.
Sounds awful
So
familiar.
that is, I didn't really take that into consideration when I was like, I wouldn't have done this. It's not that big a deal that David did it, you know? If he
Right.
wanted to be friends with Ray DeVito, he lost his trust. But like, at the end of the day, he exposed a guy for being like, yeah, I'm going to sue Penis Wrinkle or whoever.
David had a problem with Ray for a long time leading up to this.
It's been a constant battle with these two, yeah.
Nights on Broadway.
KB, do you fuck with this Dave Collins dude or nah?
I thought that was genius. He
Who's
recorded-
asking that?
Yeah, that was.
NJ
Do you-
Ranger 201.
I didn't really want to know.
Oh, sorry.
Are we allowed to like David Collins, Kevin? What do you say? Do you fuck with him or nah? I don't know. Kevin just found out who he was 30 seconds ago.
Great. I'm saying, and the fact that he's sitting there with a guy who has no respect for him, this fucking blind Mike wannabe. And
Why does he keep saying that?
Take the compliment, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. It's very kind. I do think Kevin's a little, and I'm actually not saying this insulting. I want to say it the proper way. I think he's like mentally challenged. I think something happened in the last few years. Because now when you watch him, like he's just yelling and repeating himself and saying things that don't make any sense.
An
So
IED
I worry about some
explosion.
sort of brain damage. What's that?
It's an IED explosion.
Yeah, I worry there's some kind of brain damage there or something. I don't know. But then when you see him like with Kumia, he's coherent and can put together. So maybe he just needs people around him that aren't equally retarded. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, Ramrod in the chat says show title Blind Mike Wannabe.
yes, yeah, definitely.
What's that make blind Mike if he's a blind
I
Mike?
don't know. I don't know.
I think they have that backwards. I think it's supposed to be a slam on me, but it's supposed to be like, how low is this guy if he's a blind Mike wannabe? You don't go, what does that make blind Mike? You could be a Donald Trump wannabe, and no one knows who you are. It doesn't make any sense.
That's right.
But I appreciate the boys mentioning me and David Collins. But it sparked this fury in Tom Myers. I guess Tom Myers has been getting kicked around by Ray DeVito for some time. Now, I listened to my good buddy Cardiff and my buddy Carl talk about this, and I have to add something that I think they're missing. Ray struck first. Ray drew first blood, which
Yeah.
is, as we all know, is very important. Ray has been shitting on Tom Myers. They were watching these clips going like, who does Tom Myers think he is, thinking he's cool all of a sudden? Like, who's Tom Myers to make fun of another comedian? Tom Myers has been kicked around for years. Is
Yeah.
he never supposed to strike back?
I think Ray thinks this is the only person he can get away with doing that too.
That's exactly right. I looked at it more as Ray thinking he was better than Tom Myers, which to me is equally hilarious, because at least I think Ray has maybe technically done more in comedy.
You think?
We're having a real tallest midget race here. But like, I think Ray, like, he might have a Comedy Central credit or something like that. I think he's headlined at actual clubs. I'm not positive. meaning like shows he's not putting on himself.
Mhm.
But I gotta say, Tom has much more of a following
For sure.
for his stand-up.
For
I don't
sure.
think it's close.
Yeah.
Long head
Well,
transplant. Name one Ray DeVito joke like that.
I don't think anyone's driving 10 hours to see Ray DeVito.
You're goddamn right, I'm not. And I'd do it in a heartbeat for my buddy Tom Myers. So I think what you're seeing is rage, and Tom ends up crushing Ray DeVito. I don't think it was. I'm scoring this at home. I don't think it was close. I don't have a ton of clips. I think we only have 2.
Yep.
Because a lot of them, Tom gets talked over on that. But Kevin's yelling, and you can barely hear him, so all the mics cut out. So I don't have a ton, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I think Tom destroys Ray in this. So right out of the gate, this Franklin Sheckler guy is the guy that Ray is afraid of, that David Collins exposed. So this is Ray coming on the podcast, and Tom nails him immediately.
Ray, I do have all due seriousness, I have a suggestion. If you want someone who can help you get more views, I got a great name for you. Franklin Sheckler.
Oh, Tommy.
Good point.
He does great videos.
Okay,
that-
Tom,
If that name comes up, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't
take
give a
it from
fuck.
here.
Oh, run away, Ray. Sorry.
Wah.
I like Tom in the driver's seat. Hey, bitch. You scared of Franklin Sheckler? Now, I heard Tom say things like, Ray, why don't you handle this Franklin Sheckler guy the way I handled Nick Mullen? Like, embrace it. I won't point anyone to an interview we did with Tom Myers that contradicts that entirely. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say Tom is correct.
Yes.
You should embrace it. He didn't argue with me for 20 minutes about how he would never embrace Nick Mullen. So good for Tom. And then, like, there's times, excuse me, there's times where there's like a lull, and Tom will just go, Ray, have you ever seen tits before? Like, he is bullying Ray DeVito here.
That's hilarious.
So there's one more, and I think this is where he mentions David Collins, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, Ray, remember when you goofed on David Collins for doing Norman and he got you back by recording you talking about Sheckler? You really are a fucking maroon. And he gave you $1,500. How stupid you think he feels?
I say, by the way, I don't think David I don't even think the voice is doing Mark Normand.
No.
I don't think that's Mark Normand at all. I think that's what like a simple man might think if you hear
Who?
David Collins.
Who gave Ray $1,500?
I assume not David.
If David gave him $1,500, I might rethink a lot.
I can't imagine. I can't. I think there's context that got cut out there. Kevin's very obsessed with money, so he's not paying attention to anything Tom or Ray says.
Okay.
But no, so like, I don't think he's trying to be Mark Normand. I guess the voice might be similar, but he's not doing Mark's act.
Well, as we talked about, they like have a farm system in New York, Mark and Joe, and they just hear people on the street. If they hear David, I don't think they're necessarily grabbing him.
I don't think it's the same. Maybe I'm wrong, but Ray would know better than me.
Imagine if there's a Mrs. Rapey Ray. She's like, why are you giving this clown money?
Yeah, that's that was fucked up. He recorded me without my knowledge, and yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Mic in your hand.
Oh, Ray!
Even Kevin's like, I can't spin this for you, sir.
Kevin just yelling over him. Great broadcasting.
Yeah.
But Ray, there was a microphone in front of you. Again, is it shitty of your best friend David Collins to have released that audio? Sure. Is it shitty for some stranger to do? Like, it's not that crazy to be like, hey, I went on a podcast, I talked a bunch of shit while the mics were on, and the guy released it. Can you believe it?
Brother JP says that chatter that said that gave him $1,500 last year.
I figured, yeah. I figured
Okay.
something like that.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Me for fucking doing
Yeah,
a show.
clearly. No, you're a fucking dummy for believing that you're recorded in a room.
Get him, Tom!
Ray is so mad.
How great is it having Tom in that seat?
Oh, it's what I've always wanted.
I've never heard Tom like that, where he's like, "You fucking dummy." Alpha Tom, I like it.
I get it. You're used to not doing real podcasts. I get that. So for you,
Shut up, Ray.
Recorder as a podcast for I get it.
My own show, Ray.
I understand,
Oh my
but no.
Ray.
Normally, when I do this, who did Mr. Ray? Be Mr. Ray give you $1,500 or me? So I'm already doing $1,500 better than you. So don't worry about it. Just worry about your safety glasses and keep them on. Keep safe.
Nice.
Ray, when
Ray, did you goof on David Collins for doing Mark Norman's show?
No, he's literally doing Mark Norman on stage, and I told him.
I gotta say, I've seen David Collins. I think that's not understanding what Mark Norman does. Like, David kind of does anti-comedy with some of this. Like, he walks out on stage and goes, "Oh, I didn't see you there." Like, that's not what Mark Norman does at all. Mark Norman has like an act. He has jokes.
If anything,
David's more like Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, or Heidecker or something like that.
Right. Like, I don't see Mark Norman at all. I think Ray's just kind of simple, and he's like, "Oh, both guys talk like old-timey carnival barkers."
Doing like a lot of new comics start off doing. He's not doing his jokes, but he's doing his voice and mannerisms. And hey, I'm like, you're doing Mark Norman. Just
Good
ahead
for
of
him, but he recorded you. Mark Norman never did that. That's original.
It is. I thought it was a little, when David Collins walks out and goes, "My father's gay," comedy. I was like, "Oh, that's a little much." But
Yeah, but he'd be like, "Delicious. I'm gay."
I'm gay.
a tip from David Collins.
Shut up.
He's doing an actual comedian. You should as well. You should be doing a comedian.
Get him, Tom.
Oh my God.
By the way, that's the brotherhood sticking together. That's a couple of Blind Mike Project adjacent guys, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if you recall, like, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, we were going over this clip of Ray being an absolute cocksucker to Tom.
Oh, that does sound familiar, yeah.
Like talking down to him and shit. So now he's
that's what I mean. That's what I think people may have forgotten, that are like, why is Tom being a cocky asshole here? Ray was a dick to him for no reason, which, like, listen, I'll admit this. I may have made fun of Tom's stand-up at one point or another.
Wow, that's that's big of you.
I know. But it is funny, like, when you're Ray DeVito I think there's a difference in tone. Like, I think I can make fun of Tom Myers and still have the conversation that we had. Whereas Ray, like, has this arrogance. Like, you shouldn't even be talking to me, Tom. How dare, we're not in the same class. Where it's like, no. The reason we know who either of you are is because people have very similar thoughts about the two of you.
Right.
Tom was teaching him. He's like, Ray, why don't you put your albums on Spotify? Make money off of them. Tom was trying to school him on how to make money in the business. And this is, again, people were laughing at Tom for this. I thought it was actually funny. He goes, maybe someday you'll make 3 figures on a gig. People were like, oh, does Tom think $100 is a lot of money? And I was like, no, I think that's the point. He's roasting Ray.
Yes, that was a joke, people.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Go ahead, Ray.
You might actually get gigs that pay in the triple.
Oh, there you go. I haven't cut him off, though, but
They cut him off. They kicked him out.
yeah, they don't respect the G. I gotta say, Tom is the funniest comedian on that show. In the video we're seeing. I don't think it's close.
Hands down.
So yeah, I saw my boy Tukey dive a little deeper into that yesterday. I think Carl did as well. So go to them if you want more Ray DeVito Tom coverage. But I just thought it was funny. Like I like the Blind Mike Brotherhood sticking together. Tom knows I got to defend my guy David Collins here against this maniac Ray DeVito.
Well, I have a extremely long statement from David.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, real quick too, there's a message to HACKRIDE. The way the Chad Zumach clips were cut, perfect. All you need, that little swoosh in the middle to differentiate them. Perfect.
There's a bunch of ping pong balls falling. It was nice.
Damn it. I
It
didn't
was
know
quick. It was quick.
that. All right, I'm fine with it.
Quick. This is the statement from David Collins. My statement. This was in the spirit of Christmas last Sunday night. As part of our live end of year review, we included a clip of Ray DeVito. That clip has since been clipped, circulated, and played on a few reaction channels.
Oh, David, there was also in a video David posted a few months ago, though.
Right.
The episode he had Ray DeVito on, which is
Right.
pretty funny.
To clear up any concerns, legally, we are in a one-party consent state. Regardless of that, there is no
David, I've heard that doesn't matter. If Ray flies to California and finds Stuttering John's lawyer, you still might be in trouble with the FBI, my friend.
Also, he knew you were recording, so that doesn't even matter.
True.
Regardless of that, there is no exception of privacy when you're holding a microphone and surrounded by recording devices.
Expectation, I assume.
What did I say?
Exception.
Yes, expectation. Sorry. We showed the clip and talked about it because it was funny. I had not anticipated it being noticed in the way that it was. I don't follow this Ray saga closely and had no idea that what he was talking about was answering so many questions for others,
I wonder if that's true or not, but all right.
providing for them a late Christmas present. I felt it was right to show the footage for the following reasons. In the clip, Ray is talking
How
about
long is this?
I told you it's very long. I'm halfway done almost.
Oh my God! All right.
In the clip, Ray is talking about a lawsuit. One of two things is happening. Either he is threatening a lawsuit on someone who is making funny videos online and attempting to parlay that into some sort of boost to his career.
Right.
Not to mention his conniving political spin. Or he is threatening fake lawsuits. That's my opinion. While he was in Iowa, he was nice enough. You can't believe a word of his, and he's constantly attempting to remind you of bigger names he claims to rub elbows with. Telling us all about the fancy phone numbers he has. A real coastal elite. The most recent clip I was sent of Ray on the subject, he was saying very rude things about my comedy and also claiming I do, quote, Mark Normand impression, end quote, while on stage. Both of these things can easily be refuted by watching David Collins' 30-minute half-hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
End of statement.
Well, David, we support you, buddy. Like I said, I'm actually totally convinced. When I started this, I was like, I wouldn't have released it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just kind of like, fuck Ray. He knew there's a microphone in front of him.
So that was how I was feeling, and I knew by the end of this I was going to be on team fuck Ray.
Yeah. David, you fully turned me around. I'm sorry for even doubting you for a second. I've fully turned around by the end of this. I hope you didn't turn this off in anger, but I support you, brother.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Krager's did it.